Hello and welcome back to my Let's Play of Out of the Park Baseball 18 with the Drafted Reds team in the 2017 season. If you've been following it, things have been going very negatively for me as of late. I think I've lost 6 in a row or something like that. And I'm backing up. I might not even finish the season 500 at this rate. Of course, I had an 11-game winning streak earlier in the season. Maybe, I can come back from this. I guess I'm a little upset. It's not so much that I'm losing. I didn't really expect to win this year. It's how I'm losing. It's just like a complete and total nosedive here at the last quarter of the season. Start of the last quarter of the season. So, that's a little frustrating to me. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to kind of explain some of the decision-making I've been making. Like you might see me get Dan Altavilla up in the bullpen to face lefties. And if you look at his splits, he's been extremely effective versus left-handers. So even though he's a right-handed pitcher, he shuts down lefties. He's been good against right-handers too. He's been a little bit homer prone. I think some of that's my fault. I might pitch him a little bit too long. I like to pitch relievers for multiple innings, which doesn't always work out very well for me. I need to cut that down a little bit. And the other side of the coin is Daniel Stumpf here. Stumpf's been an effective pitcher in his long relief role. I don't know if I'd want to use him as much in the late innings. I do use him occasionally in games that go to extra innings. But if you look at his batting splits, he's the opposite. He's a lefty that's not been all that effective versus lefties. They're hitting 271 off of him, have a couple home runs. So, he's better used in a role where he's going to pitch multiple innings. He has pitched really well versus right-handers. So if he's, if there's a lefty up, it's really not to my benefit to get Stumpf up to face him because he's just not pitched well versus lefties. Of course, this is a relatively small sample size, but if you look at his ratings versus left-hand batters, he just doesn't have the stuff that he has versus right-hand batters. So I'm thinking long term, it's probably going to back me up. He might even out a little bit. Right-handers might start hitting a little bit better against him. Left-handers a little worse because in general, the lefty batters do not fare as well versus lefty pitchers. So they're gonna take a hit versus a lefty regardless because they generally don't have as much skill hitting against a left-handed pitcher. But it's just the way it's worked out, and I've been trying to stay away from using him as a lefty specialist. I'd actually kind of like to look at some of the other guys in my pitching staff. Rivero, let's look at his splits. See, I've been using him basically versus both left and right, and not really being concerned about lining up. And he's been effective versus both left and right-hand batters, about the same. OPS is within 5 points of the other. So he's only given up a home run to, well, I guess he's had fewer plate appearances versus left-handers, but he's been effective versus both sides, and that's how I've used him. I might be interested to see how Edwin Diaz has fared. Yeah, he's not been quite as good versus lefties, although he's been very effective. That slugging percentage is kind of high. He is, as most of my pitchers are, homer prone. But that's my decision making about who to pitch when versus what batter. One thing I have done is I brought up Eric Jagiello from the minors. He's been hitting at a 1.150 OPS at AAA, and you know my offense has been completely dead. I'm bringing him up. I'm gonna give him a chance to play, but I'm not expecting much because I think one of the negative things about this simulation is that when it decides you're not going to win, pretty much every decision you make is going to be it's going to go negative on you. So, you know, even though Jagiello looks like he might be a really hot hitter, someone to bring up, my guess is he's probably going to nosedive when he hits the majors. I mean, if you look at these rates, he does have power. He's got an average eye, but the contact's below average. The avoid Ks is way low. So I'm guessing he's going to get here and get up to the majors, and he's probably going to cool off considerably, if not go over with lots of strikeouts. But I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, there's no sense not giving it a shot since I'm losing players left and right. One thing I probably ought to do is send Almora down to the minors, at least for a little while. The thing about him, though, he is the team leader. If you look at the team chemistry screen, which at one point it was completely, the bar was full, everybody's ecstatic. That's falling off now that we're losing. I don't know, you know, if it's falling off and then we're losing, or if it's falling off because we're losing. I think probably the latter. But here's Almora. He's the leader. So if I send him down to the minors, the team might play even worse if that's possible. I'm not sure if it is possible, but I've been checking the waiver wire. There's really not been anything out there to grab. So I've got to pretty much go forward with the team I've got. I've got a day off today. I'll go ahead and finish today. And I get to play I guess the Cubs, I assume. I'm going to look at the pitching staff real quick. Looks like everybody is ready to go. Yeah, Glover's been pretty even versus both lefties and righties, and he's been very homer prone, as like I said, most of my pitchers are. Let's see, Glover. Let me check out AAA. Ellington and Strom are ready. You know, I might just have to ditch the experiment with Strom. He's not been a good starter for me at the major league level. He's been pretty good at the minor league level, AAA. Here's a good start for him, a quality start. I don't know if it's a really good start, but it is a quality start for him down here. You see, he'll pitch relatively well. I'd even accept 4 runs at the major league level. I just want somebody to give me some innings and keep me in the game. But it's just not happening. If I bring him up, he'll give up a big number. So I think I might need to put him back in the bullpen for the rest of the year. He is a lefty. I guess I can check his splits. He might be... Oh yeah, he's been considerably better versus lefties. He'd be more your traditional... It says his stuff's the same, but he looks like the more traditional lefty specialist. But I'll look at my pitching staff, see if there's... I want to exchange some people here. I could even put Altavilla on the... he does have a day-to-day injury. I could put him on the disabled list. When's the last time he pitched? The 20th? No, I'll keep him on the team. All right. Well, since I don't have a role for him right away, I'm going to go ahead and put Strom back in the rotation down here. We'll see how he pitches. I'll put Ellington in middle relief. I'll say use less often. That way, hopefully he won't get tired down here, and I'll be able to bring him up in case I go through my entire bullpen another game. All right. Right-hand pitcher Ian Kennedy. Fulmer starting tonight. I'm going to go ahead and let Kelly play. I'd rather have the defense in with Fulmer pitching. Let's see, Simmons. Heimer Candelario has been struggling pretty mildly, so I'm going to let Eric Jagiello start at third base here tonight. Actually, Fisher will play right field. We'll have Brandon Moss in left. And Lewis Brinson in right. I'm going to have several players with major holes in their swing in the lineup tonight, but oh wait, I've got Brinson in center and Fisher in right. I'm going to play Ozzie Albies at short tonight. All right. Welcome to Great American Ballpark, where the Cincinnati Reds are hosting the Chicago Cubs. Starting tonight for the Reds, Michael Fulmer. Fulmer has a 10-8 record with a 2.79 ERA. He struck out 154 batters in 168 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Cubs shortstop Jonathan Villar. Villar hitting .263 with 15 home runs and 67 RBIs. Line shot back up the middle, base hit for Villar. He leads off the game with a single. He's on at first with good speed for Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen, the Cubs right fielder, hitting .261 with 17 home runs and 53 RBIs. Fulmer throws over to first. Villar's back. They pitch out. Villar's not going anywhere. Fulmer checks the runner, delivers to McCutchen at the plate. Is that a bunt? Villar moves up to second on the bunt hit by Andrew McCutchen. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, the Cubs' first baseman, hitting .245 with 21 home runs and 64 RBIs. Fulmer checks the runners, delivers to Fulmer at the plate. Rizzo at the plate. Double steal. Runners move up to second and third. Line shot down the right field line by Rizzo. He's digging for second base. 2 runs are going to score on the play. And Rizzo's in with a 2 RBI double. He's at second with nobody out in the inning for Jose Altuve. The Cubs' second baseman hitting .314 with 15 home runs and 57 RBIs. Fulmer strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Luis Valbuena to the plate. The Cubs' third baseman hitting .254 with 8 home runs and 43 RBIs. Oh, Fulmer sucks tonight. Runners at first and second after the walk to Valbuena. Still only 1 out in the inning for Andrew Toles. Toles, the Cubs center fielder, hitting .262 with 4 home runs and 34 RBIs. Line shot to left center field that gets down for a base hit for Toles. He's into second easily with a double. Rizzo scores. Valbuena moves up to third. And the Cubs now lead 3-0 here in the top of the first. Brings Brian McCann to the plate. The Cubs catcher hitting .269 with 17 home runs and 70 RBIs. Line shot to center. That's probably going to be deep enough for the runner to tag up from third. Toles tags up from second, moves to third. And the Cubs now lead 4-0. That brings the pitcher Ian Kennedy to the plate. Kennedy hitting .257 with 2 RBIs. Fulmer strikes him out to end the inning. But the Cubs score 4 here in the top of the first, and they lead the Reds 4-0. Starting today for the Cubs, Ian Kennedy. Kennedy 8-8 with a .506 ERA. He struck out 117 batters in 117 and a third innings. Line shot to left center field that gets down for extra bases for Profar. He's into second easily with a double. Runner at second, nobody out for Lewis Brinson. The Red center fielder hitting .265 with 17 home runs and 54 RBIs. Moss draws a walk. He's on at first base with 2 down for Eric Jagiello. Jagiello making his Reds debut, Major League debut. Ground ball to second. Altuve up with it, throws to first, and Jagiello's retired. The Reds threaten, but they fail to score here in the bottom of the first, and the Cubs lead them 4-0 after 1. Juan Lagares, the left fielder, stands in. Lagares hitting .226 with 2 home runs and 18 RBIs. Hard hit ball back up the middle, base hit for Lagares. He's on at first with good speed for Jonathan Villar. Ground ball down to third. Jagiello takes a short route to second. Relay's not in time. 1 down, Villar at first. Andrew McCutchen at the plate. McCutchen 1 for 1 today. Ground ball to short. Albie's up with it, throws to first. McCutchen's retired. Villar moves up to second on the play. 2 down, Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Rizzo 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs today. Ground ball to short on the right-hand side of second base. Albie's up with it, throws to first. And Rizzo is retired. The Cubs get a runner into scoring position, but they don't do anything. After 1.5, they lead the Reds 4-0. Derek Fisher steps to the plate. The Reds right fielder hitting .179 with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. High deep drive to right field. Did Fisher get all that? That's not coming back. Home run for Fisher. And he cuts the Cubs lead to 3. It's now 4-1 in the bottom of the second. Still nobody out in the inning, and the catcher Carson Kelly steps to the plate. Kelly hitting .216 with 4 home runs and 24 RBIs. Line shot to right field. That gets down for a base hit for Kelly. He'll be on first base with nobody out for the pitcher Michael Fulmer. Fulmer will be called on to bunt here. And he pops it up down to third. Valbuena picks it off, throws to first, and they double off Kelly. 2 down now. That brings Ozzie Albies to the plate. The Red shortstop hitting .259 with an RBI to his name. Line shot through the right side of the infield, base hit for Albies. He's on at first base with 2 outs for Jurickson Profar. Profar 1 for 1 today. Ground ball to short. Villar goes the short route to second. Albies is retired. And that ends the inning. The Reds score a run here in the bottom of the second, but they still trail the Cubs 4-1. Jose Altuve stands in. He's 0 for 1. Fulmer plunks him. He'll be on first base with good speed for Luis Valbuena. Valbuena drew a walk earlier. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Oh, okay. Gonzalez took it to the first base bag, tagged. Valbuena was out. He threw down to second, and it was not in time to get Altuve. Altuve moved up to second. 1 out in the inning. Andrew Toles at the plate. Toles 1 for 1. Man, Fulmer hit another batter. He's obviously not got his stuff today. That brings Brian McCann to the plate. McCann with a sacrifice fly. High fly ball to right center field. Derek Fisher gets underneath it, makes the catch. Altuve tags up from second, moves to third. 2 down now. Runners at first and third for the pitcher Ian Kennedy. Kennedy 0 for 1. Fulmer strikes him out to end the inning. The Cubs threaten again here in the top of the third, but they fail to score. But they lead the Reds 4-1 after 2.5. The center fielder Lewis Brinson stands in. Brinson 0 for 1. Line shot to right field. That gets back to the corner. Brinson digging for second. He slides in safely with a double. Brinson now in scoring position for Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 1. High fly ball to center field. Toles underneath it, puts it away. Brinson's going to have to stay at second base. 1 down, that brings Brandon Moss to the plate. Moss drew a walk earlier. Fly ball to center. Toles under it. He grabs it for the second out of the inning. 2 down, Eric Jagiello at the plate. Jagiello 0 for 1. High deep drive to right center field. I think Jagiello got all of that one. 2-run home run for Jagiello. And he continues his hot ways here at the Major League level, thankfully. The Reds now trail the Cubs by 1. It's 4-3 here in the bottom of the third. That brings Derek Fisher to the plate. Fisher had a solo home run in the second. Line shot to left center field. But Lagares makes a very nice play out there to steal a base hit and possible extra bases from Fisher. That retires the Reds here in the bottom of the third. They cut the Cubs' lead to 1, though. It's now 4-3 after 3. Juan Lagares steps to the plate. The Cubs left fielder 1 for 1. Ground ball down to third base. Jagiello up with it, throws to first. Lagares is retired. For the first out of the inning, 1 down, Jonathan Villar steps in. Villar 1 for 2. Ground ball to short. Albies up with it, throws to first. Villar's retired for the second out of the inning. 2 down, that brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen 1 for 2. Fly ball to left field. Moss underneath it, puts it away. And the Cubs go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the fourth. They lead the Reds 4-3 after 3.5. Carson Kelly steps to the plate. Kelly 1 for 1. High deep drive to left field. Kelly got all of that one. It's not coming back. And the Reds have tied it up here 4-4 in the bottom of the fourth. Brings the pitcher Michael Fulmer to the plate. Fulmer not with his best stuff tonight. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Kennedy off the mound, throws to first. Fulmer's retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Ozzie Albies to the plate. The Reds shortstop 1 for 1. He strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Jurickson Profar to the plate. Profar 1 for 2 with a double. High deep drive to left center field. But Lagares is able to make the catch. That retires Profar and the Reds here in the bottom of the 4th. But the Reds score a run. They tie it up. It's now 4-4 after 4. Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo stands in. Rizzo 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Pop up on the infield. Albies underneath it. Puts it away for the first out of the inning. 1 down. Jose Altuve at the plate. The Cubs second baseman 0 for 1 with a walk. Oh, actually a hit by pitch, I'm sorry. 0 for 1 and hit by a pitch. He strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Luis Valbuena to the plate. Valbuena 0 for 1. Ground ball down to second. Profar up with it. Throws to first. And Valbuena is retired. Cubs go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the 5th. And the game's still tied 4-4 after 4.5. Lewis Brinson steps to the plate. Brinson 1 for 2. Oh, new pitcher for the Cubs, Simon Castro. High deep drive to left field. All the bats are awake tonight. Brinson goes deep for a solo home run. And the Reds take a 5-4 lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Castro 6-1 this season with a 4.4 ERA. He struck out 56 batters in 47 innings pitched. He's now facing Adrian Gonzalez with nobody out. Gonzalez 0 for 2. Looper to left field. That drops in front of Lagares for a base hit. Gonzalez on at first with nobody out for Brandon Moss. Moss 0 for 1 with a walk. He draws another one here. There are now runners at first and second with nobody out for Eric Jagiello. Jagiello 1 for 2 with a 2-run home run. Strikes out here for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Derek Fisher to the plate. Fisher 1 for 2 with a solo home run. Line shot to right that gets down for a base hit for Derek Fisher. Gonzalez trying to score on the play. Throw home and he's safe. The Reds now lead 6-4. Runners at first and second, 1 out for the catcher Carson Kelly. Kelly a perfect 2 for 2 on the day with a solo home run. Ground ball to short. Villar up with it, only plays to first. And Kelly's out. 2 down in the inning. That brings Michael Fulmer to the plate. Oh, I should have had somebody up in the bullpen. Oh well. I got lefties coming up. Everybody's I'm gonna go ahead and let Fulmer hit.
Strike 3, you're out.
Fulmer strikes out to end the inning. The Reds strand 2, but they score 2. And they now lead the Cubs 6-4 after 5. Andrew Toles to lead off the 6th here for the Cubs. Toles 1 for 1 with an RBI. Ground ball down to third base. Jagiello up with it, throws to first. Toles is retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Brian McCann to the plate. The Cubs catcher 0 for 1 with an RBI. Ground ball to second. Profar up with it, throws to first. McCann's retired. 2 down the inning. That brings a pinch hitter Adam Duvall to the plate. Duvall hitting .263 with 13 home runs and 40 RBIs. Fulmer delivers. Strikes out Duvall to end the inning. The Cubs go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the 6th, and the Reds lead them 6-4 after 5.5. Let's see. Ozzie Albies steps to the plate. Albies 1 for 2. New pitcher for the Cubs, Jordan Walden. Line shot to short. Villar picks it off for the first out of the inning. One down. Let's see, I'm going to get the bullpen up. Jurickson Profar stands in. Profar 1 for 3. Hard hit ball back up the middle. Shortstop Villar ranges over to make the play. Throws to first, and Profar is retired. 2 down in the inning. That brings Lewis Brinson to the plate. Brinson 2 for 3 with a solo home run. Brinson strikes out to end the inning. The Reds go down here 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th, but they lead the Cubs 6-4. Okay, Wall's ready in the bullpen. We'll get Rivero up too for Rizzo. We'll let Fulmer start the inning. We'll see how he does. Juan Lagares at the plate. Lagares 1 for 2. Ground ball down to first. Gonzalez up with it. Throws to Fulmer, who's covering. Lagares is retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Jonathan Villar to plate. Villar 1 for 3. Fulmer strikes him out for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen 1 for 3. Fulmer delivers. Line shot back up the middle. Base hit for McCutchen. They'll be on first with 2 outs for Anthony Rizzo. I'm going to visit the mound. Everybody's ready now. I'm going to bring Rivero into pitch 2. To Rizzo. And we'll have Albert Almora come in and play center field. Taking over in center field for the Reds, Albert Almora. And pitching for the Reds, Felipe Rivero. Rivero 3-1 with a 2.56 ERA. He struck out 63 batters in 56 1/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing Anthony Rizzo, the Cubs first baseman, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Pop up on the infield. Third baseman Jagiello puts it away, and the Cubs are retired here in the top of the 7th. The Reds lead them 6-4 after 6 1/2. Adrian Gonzalez steps in, the first baseman, 1 for 3. He'll be facing Dan Jennings. Jennings 6-3 on the season with a 4.71 ERA. Rizzo throws it away at first. Gonzalez is safe, but on the error. Nobody out. That brings Brandon Moss to the plate. Moss 0 for 1 with a couple walks. Top ground ball to second base. It goes 4-5-3. Oh, Moss was hustling down the line to break up the double play. He's on first base with 1 out for Eric Jagiello. Let's see, Jagiello 1 for 3 with a home run and 2 RBIs. With the lefty on the mound, I'm going to bring Andrelton Simmons in to pinch hit. We'll make him the shortstop. Put Albies in at second base, and we'll move Profar to third. Pinch hitting for the Reds, Andrelton Simmons. Simmons hitting .223 with 4 home runs and 29 RBIs. Moss down at first, 1 out in the inning. Top ground ball to short. It's a 6-4-3 double play. That ends the inning. But the Reds lead the Cubs 6-4 here after 7. Oh. Got Bobby Wall up in the bullpen still. Bunch of lefties in a row. I don't think I'm going to fool around here. I'm going to get Edwin Diaz up. If anything goes wrong with Rivero, we'll go to Diaz. Jose Altuve steps to the plate. Altuve 0 for 2. Ground ball up the middle. Albies ranges over. Makes the play on the left-hand side of the second base bag. Wasn't playing a big shift, though. Throws out Altuve for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Luis Valbuena to the plate. Valbuena 0 for 2. Rivero strikes him out for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Andrew Toles to the plate. Toles 1 for 2. Ground ball to second. Albies up with it. Throws to first. And Toles is retired. The Cubs go down here in the top of the 8th. And the Reds lead them 6-4 after 7.5. All right, Diaz is ready. Derek Fisher steps to the plate. Fisher 2 for 3 with a 2-run home run. Or actually, I think he had a solo shot. He might have another RBI later. Ground ball back to the pitcher. Jennings throws on to first, and Fisher's retired. 1 down. That brings Carson Kelly to the plate. Kelly 2 for 3 with a solo home run. Hard ground ball down to third. Valbuena up with it, throws to first, and Kelly's retired. 2 down in the inning. That brings Albert Almora to the plate. Almora hitting .224 with 3 home runs and 25 RBIs. Ground ball down to first. Rizzo up with it. Throws to Jennings, who covers, and Almora is retired. The Reds go down here 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 8th, but they lead the Cubs 6-4. New pitcher for the Reds, Edwin Diaz. Diaz 2-2 with a 1.85 ERA. He struck out 67 batters in 43 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Cubs catcher Brian McCann. McCann 0 for 2 in RBI. Diaz delivers. Hits it past the second baseman. Albies into right field for a base hit. He's on at first base with nobody out for Tyler Austin. Austin, the pinch hitter, hitting .250 with an RBI to his name. Line shot to deep center field. Almora moving back. He makes the catch on the track. Long loud out for Tyler Austin. McCann has to stay at first base. 1 down. That brings Juan Lagares to the plate. Lagares 1 for 3 today. Ground ball to second. And it's a 4-6-3 double play. That ends the inning and the game. The Reds with a desperately needed 6-4 win today here at Great American Ballpark. Oh, man. I thought after Fulmer gave up those 4 runs, I thought it was going to be another one of those days. He came back and pitched pretty solidly. Rivero with a nice hold, and Diaz to close it out. I don't know if that's, sign of my little streak turning around or not, but at least it felt like a good win today. I'll go ahead and I'm going to check the waiver wire again. Oh, there's Scott Feldman. He actually might not be a bad pickup depending on how he's been pitching. Looks like he's kind of a mixed bag. Batting average on balls in play is inflated. Well, we'll end today. I'll have to play Jagiello again just to see if that was beginner's luck or not. I don't know who's going to be starting today. Edwin Diaz is ready to go again. I think I wore out Rivero too much. Daniel Norris is ready to start. Yeah, we'll start Norris. Hisashi Iwakuma pitching. We'll stack some lefties against him. We'll play Brinson in center and Jagiello in right. Have Heimer Candelario play today. Carson Kelly had a good game behind the plate. We'll have him play again. And we'll start Simmons. We'll see how he hits. Welcome to Great American Ballpark, where the Cincinnati Reds are hosting the Chicago Cubs. Starting today for the Reds, Daniel Norris. Norris has a 9-11 record with a 3.08 ERA. He struck out 147 batters in 157 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Cubs shortstop Jonathan Villar. The right-hand switch hitting Villar, hitting .263 with 15 home runs and 67 RBIs. Three-two the count. Villar works a walk. He's on at first with good speed for Jose Altuve. Altuve hitting .312 with 15 home runs and 57 RBIs. Norris checks the runner. Villar delivers to Altuve. Villar takes off for second. He's in there safely with a stolen base. He's now in scoring position for Altuve. 1-2 the count. Norris strikes out Altuve for the first out of the inning. One down. That brings Anthony Rizzo to the plate. The Cubs' first baseman hitting .245 with 20 home runs and 66 RBIs. Norris strikes him out for the second out of the inning. Two down. That brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen playing right field today for the Cubs. He's hitting .263 with 17 home runs and 53 RBIs. Hard hit ball down the first base line. Villar trying to score from second. Throw home by Jagiello. Not in time. Villar scores, and the Cubs are up 1-0 here in the first. McCutchen at first, two down. Howie Kendrick at the plate. Kendrick, the left fielder, hitting .250 with 1 home run and 14 RBIs. Ground ball down to third base. Candelario up with it, throws to first, and Kendrick's retired. But the Cubs score a run. They lead 1-0 after the top of the first. Pitching today for the Cubs, Hisashi Iwakuma. Iwakuma with a 3.78 ERA and a 6-9 record. He struck out 88 batters in 114 1/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Reds' second baseman Jurickson Profar. Profar hitting .265 with 7 home runs and 39 RBIs. Profar draws a walk. He's on at first base with a little bit above average speed. Let's see. Iwakuma has a good ability to hold, so we're going to play station to station with Profar. Lewis Brinson steps in. The Red center fielder hitting .267 with 18 home runs and 55 RBIs. Hard hit ball back up the middle. Base hit for Brinson. Profar moves up to second base. Runners at first and second. Nobody out for the first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez hitting .271 with 20 home runs and 54 RBIs. Line shot to right center field. That gets back to the wall. Profar scores. Brinson's coming around third trying to score. He's in there safely. And Adrian Gonzalez has a 2 RBI double. The Reds now lead the Cubs 2-1. Still nobody out in the inning. That brings Brandon Moss to the plate. Moss hitting .227 with 10 home runs and 31 RBIs. Fly ball to right field. Oh, that gets down for a base hit for Moss. He's digging for second base. Gonzalez scores on the play. And it's an RBI double for Moss. He's on at second base. Still nobody out in the inning for Heimer Candelario. Candelario, the Reds' third baseman, struggling mildly lately. He's hitting .244 on the season with 16 home runs and 55 RBIs. Ground ball to second. Altuve up with it, throws to first. Candelario is retired for the first out of the inning. Moss moves up to third base. That brings the right fielder Eric Jagiello to the plate. Jagiello hitting .333 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Ground ball to second. Altuve up with it, throws to first. Jagiello is retired. But Moss is able to score on the play from third. And the Reds now lead 4-1 in the bottom of the first. Base is now empty, 2 outs. Carson Kelly at the plate. The Reds catcher hitting .221 with 5 home runs and 25 RBIs. Line shot to left center field. That gets down for a base hit for Kelly. Back to the wall. Kelly coasts into second with a double. He's in scoring position for the pitcher, Daniel Norris. Norris hitting .204 on the season with a home run to his name. Wakama delivers. Strikes out Norris to end the inning. But the Reds score 4 here in the bottom of the first, and they lead the Cubs 4-1 after 1. The Cubs center fielder Andrew Toll steps in. Toll's hitting .262 with 4 home runs and 35 RBIs. Norris strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down. Adam Duvall steps in. Duvall hitting .262 with 13 home runs and 40 RBIs. Norris strikes him out for the second out of the inning. 2 down. Brings the pitcher Hisashi Iwakuma to the plate. Iwakuma hitting .118. He has an RBI to his name. Ground ball to short. Simmons up with it, throws to first, and Iwakuma is retired. The Cubs go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the second, and the Reds lead them 4-1 after 1.5. Andrelton Simmons at the plate. The Reds shortstop hitting .223 with 4 home runs and 29 RBIs. Line shot to the left that gets down for a base hit for Simmons. He's on at first base with nobody out for Jurickson Profar. Profar drew a walk in the first. Looper to left field falls in for a base hit for Profar. The Reds now have runners at first and second with nobody out for Lewis Brinson. Brinson 1 for 1. Strikes out here for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Adrian Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez 1 for 1 with a 2 RBI double. Hard hit ball down to third. Duvall makes a nice play to steal a base hit from Gonzalez. 2 outs in the inning. That brings Brandon Moss to the plate. Moss 1 for 1 with an RBI. Moss strikes out here to end the inning. The Reds threaten, but they strand 2. And after 2, they lead the Cubs 4-1. Brian McCann steps in. The Cubs catcher hitting .269 with 17 home runs and 71 RBIs. Seeing eye single through the right side of the infield. Base hit for McCann. He's on at first base for the shortstop Jonathan Villar. Villar drew a walk to lead off the game. Looper to right field. That gets down for a base hit for Villar. The catcher McCann moves up to third. Runners at first and third. Nobody out in the inning for Jose Altuve. Altuve 0 for 1. They pitch out. Villar's not going anywhere. Ooh, Norris strikes out Altuve for the first out of the inning. 1 down. Still runners at first and third. That brings Anthony Rizzo to the plate. Rizzo 0 for 1. Villar takes off for second. Ooh, Kelly guns him down. He's gunned down 13 of 25 would-be base stealers. That's a pretty good rate. 2 down in the inning. McCann still down at first base. Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Full count. Rizzo works a walk from Norris. Now runners at first and third. Andrew McCutchen stands in. McCutchen 1 for 1. He does have an RBI. Norris delivers. Line shot to the left side of the infield. Base hit from McCutchen. McCann scores from third on the play. And the Cubs have cut the lead to 2. It's now 4-2 here in the top of the third. That brings Howie Kendrick to the plate. Kendrick 0 for 1. Norris delivers. Line shot down the third base line. Candelario backhands it, throws to second. Cuts down the runner, McCutchen. That ends the inning. The Cubs score a run here in the top of the third, but they still trail the Reds 4-2 after 2.5. Jeimer Candelario steps to the plate, the third baseman 0 for 1. Line shot to left center field. Oh, but Toles ranges far over to make that play. He stole extra bases from Candelario. One down the inning, that brings Eric Jagiello to the plate. Jagiello had an RBI ground out in the first. Strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down, that brings Carson Kelly to the plate. Kelly 1 for 1 today. Top ground ball back to the pitcher. Iwakuma up with it, throws to first, and Kelly is retired. The Reds go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the third, but they lead the Cubs 4-2 after 3. Andrew Toles at the plate. Toles 0 for 1. Norris strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Adam Duvall to the plate. Duvall 0 for 1. Hard hit ball to center. Brinson's able to track it down though. 2 down, that brings the pitcher Hisashi Iwakuma to the plate. Iwakuma 0 for 1. Ground ball to short. Simmons up with it, throws to first. Iwakuma's retired, and the Cubs go down 1-2-3 in the top of the fourth. They trail the Reds 4-2 after 3.5. Daniel Norris steps in. Norris 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Looper to left center field. Toles under it, puts it away for the first out of the inning. 1 down. Andrelton Simmons stands in. The Red shortstop 1 for 1. Line shot to left center field, but Kendrick's able to range over to make that play in the gap. 2 down the inning. That brings Jurickson Profar to the plate. Profar 1 for 1 with a walk. Top ground ball back to the pitcher. Iwakuma up with it, throws to first. Profar's retired. And the Reds go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the fourth. They lead the Cubs 4-2 after 4. Brian McCann steps in. The Cubs catcher 1 for 1. Norris strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Jonathan Villar to the plate. The Cubs shortstop 1 for 1. Strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down, that brings Jose Altuve to the plate. Altuve has struck out twice today. Line shot to left center field. Moss moving in. Makes the catch. And that ends the top of the fifth. The Cubs go down 1-2-3. And the Reds lead them 4-2 after 4.5. Lewis Brinson steps to the plate. The Reds center fielder 1 for 2. Line shot to short. Picked off by the shortstop Villar for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Adrian Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. High fly ball to center field. Toles under it, puts it away. And there's 2 down in the inning. Brandon Moss steps in. Moss 1 for 2 with an RBI. Hard hit ball to second. Altuve up with it, throws to first, and Moss is retired. The Reds go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the fifth, but they lead the Cubs 4-2 after 5. Let's see, beginning of the 6th inning order for Norris. He'll be facing Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo 0 for 1. Strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down. Andrew McCutchen at the plate. McCutchen a perfect 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Fly ball to right field. Jagiello moving over. Makes the catch for the second out of the inning. 2 down. Howie Kendrick at the plate. Kendrick 0 for 2. Ground ball to short. Simmons up with it, throws to first. And the Cubs go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. They trail the Reds 4-2 after 5.5. Let's see, I think I ought to get the bullpen up. Lefty, righty, righty. We'll get Coda Glover up. Reds third baseman Heimer Candelario steps to plate. Candelario 0 for 2. Hard hit ground ball to second. Altuve up with it, throws to first. Candelario's retired. One down the inning for Eric Jagiello. Jagiello 0 for 2. Strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down, that brings Carson Kelly to the plate. Kelly 1 for 2. Strikes out here for the last out of the bottom of the 6th. The Reds go down 1-2-3, but they lead the Cubs 4-2 after 6. Let's see, Glover's ready. I think I'm going to let Norris pitch to Toles here since he's left-handed. We'll see how that goes. Toles 0 for 2 on the day. Line shot to the right side of the infield. Base hit for Toles. He's on at first with nobody out. Let's see, 2 righties and a lefty. New pitcher for the Reds, Koda Glover. Glover 1-0 with a 3.24 ERA. He struck out 35 batters in 33 1/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing Adam Duvall. Duvall 0 for 2. Toles at first, nobody out. Strikes out Duvall for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings the pinch hitter Tyler Austin to the plate. Austin hitting .238 with an RBI to his name. Toles still at first with good speed. 1 out. Glover delivers. Ground ball to short. Simmons up with it, throws to first, and Austin's retired. Good play by Simmons. 2 down the inning. And Brian McCann at the plate. Rivera's still not ready. I'm going to put him in the game anyway. New pitcher for the Reds, Felipe Rivero. Rivero 3-1 with a 2.5 ERA. He struck out 64 batters in 57 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Cubs catcher Brian McCann. McCann 1 for 2. Rivera delivers. Strikes out McCann to end the inning. The Cubs threaten here in the top of the second, or top of the 7th, but they fail to score. They strand a runner, and the Reds lead them 4-2 after 6.5. Let's see. Tommy Hunter's the pitcher. We'll let Derek Fisher pinch hit. We might even let him play right field. Pinch hitting for the Reds, Derek Fisher. Fisher hitting .197 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. He'll be facing a new pitcher for the Cubs, Tommy Hunter. Hunter 2-3 with a 3.69 ERA. He's now struck out 62 batters in 71 innings pitched. As Fisher goes down on strikes here to lead off the inning. 1 down, Andrelton Simmons stands in. Simmons 1 for 2. Strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down. Brings Jurickson Profar to the plate. Profar 1 for 2. Line shot back up the middle. Base hit for Profar. He's on at first with 2 down for Lewis Brinson. Brinson 1 for 3. Hard hit ball is short. Villar takes the short route to second base. He cuts down Profar, and that retires the Reds here in the bottom of the 7th. They lead the Cubs 4-2 after 7. New pitcher for the Reds, Jonathan Holder. Holder 4-4 with a 3.45 ERA. He struck out 66 batters in 62 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the shortstop Jonathan Villar. Villar 1 for 2 today. You know, I should have put see Albert Almora still on the bench. I should have done a double switch. We'll get Almora in the game though. Have him play center. Taking over in center field for the Reds, Albert Almora. Lewis Brinson shifts to right. Holder pitches to Villar. Line shot to center. That's going to get back to the wall. Villar digging for second base. He's in easily with a double. Cubs now have a runner in scoring position with nobody out for Jose Altuve. Altuve 0 for 3. Line shot to left center field. That gets back to the wall for extra bases for Altuve. He's in the second easily with a double. And Villar scores. I guess I should have had Diaz up. Runner at second, still nobody out. Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Line shot to left field. Moss is able to move over to make the catch. Rizzo's retired for the first out of the inning. That brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen 2 for 3. McCutchen draws a walk. Now runners at first and second. Still only one out in the inning for Howie Kendrick. Kendrick 0 for 3. I'm going to bring Edwin Diaz in. I'm not going to fool around. Runners at first and second. Only one out in the inning. Howie Kendrick at the plate. New pitcher for the Reds, Edwin Diaz. Diaz 2-2 with a 1.81 ERA. He struck out 67 batters in 44 and 2/3 innings pitched. He promptly walks Howie Kendrick, and the bases are now loaded for Andrew Toles. Toles 1 for 3. Strikes out Toles for the second out of the inning, 2 down. Brings Adam Duvall to the plate. Duvall 0 for 3. Diaz delivers. Strikes him out to end the inning. That was a scary one for the Reds. The Cubs have the bases loaded. They only score 1 though. And they still trail the Reds 4-3 after 7.5. Adrian Gonzalez steps to the plate. Gonzalez 1 for 3. Ground ball back up the middle. Villar up with it, throws to first. Gonzalez retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Brandon Moss to the plate. Moss 1 for 3. Line shot back to the wall in right center field. Moss into second easily with a double. He's now in scoring position for Heimer Candelario. Candelario 0 for 3. Candelario gets the intentional pass. There are now runners at first and second for Albert Almora. Almora hitting .223 with 3 home runs and 25 RBIs. Ground ball down to first. Rizzo up with it, takes to the bag himself. The runners move up to second and third. Almora's retired. There are 2 down now for Carson Kelly. Kelly 1 for 3. Line shot to the right side of the infield. Base hit for Kelly. 2 runs are trying to score here. They throw home. It gets away from the catcher. McCutchen with a throwing error. Kelly moves up to second on the play. The Reds score 2 runs. They now lead the Cubs 6-3. Kelly, a single, advances to second on the error. The second run scores on the error as well. 2 down, that brings Edwin Diaz to the plate. Diaz will be allowed to hit here so he can potentially finish the game. Line shot back up the middle for Diaz. He gets a base hit. Reds now have runners at first and third with 2 outs for Andrelton Simmons. Simmons 1 for 3. New pitcher for the Cubs, Glenn Perkins. Perkins 1 and 3 with a 5.61 ERA. Ball hit past the shortstop in the left field for a base hit for Simmons. The runner Kelly scores from third. And the Reds now go up 7-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Runners at first and second for Jerks and Profar. Profar 2 for 3. Profar strikes out here to end the inning. But the Reds tack on 3. They lead the Cubs 7-3 after 8. Alright, I think I'll go ahead and let Diaz finish the game, I guess, if he can. Juan Lagares steps to the plate. Lagares hitting .226 with 2 home runs and 18 RBIs. He strikes out here for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Brian McCann to the plate. McCann 1 for 3. Ground ball down to first. Gonzalez up with it. Takes it to the bag himself. McCann's retired for the second out of the inning. 2 down. Jonathan Villar at the plate. Villar 2 for 3. Line shot back up the middle. Simmons makes a terrific catch out there, though. Steals a base hit for Villar. And the Reds win here at Great American Ballpark 7-3 over the Cubs. It's a nail biter there at the end. I probably should have had Diaz start the 8th. Start playing the leverage game. But he did come in to strike out 2 and finish out the game. And the Reds win. Let's see, we're still in second. We're 2 games back. I'll go ahead, check transactions, see if there's anything on the waiver wire. I already checked that earlier. Angel Pagan. That's probably not a bad pickup. I don't know how he's hitting. 249, not terrible considering, well, he's not terrific at defense anymore. Alright, let me see my pitching staff, see who's, looks like most everybody's ready to go except for Edwin Diaz. I guess Rivero's not ready to go either. Yasmero Pettit to start today. We're going to give Skaggs some time off. Hopefully, his day-to-day injury. Another 2 days on the day-to-day for John Gray, so I'm going to have to bring somebody up to start this game versus Pittsburgh tomorrow. Alright, I'm going to go, I got to take something out of the oven real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, let me check Louisville. Uh-oh. Pending diagnosis. Michael Felice and Zach Birdie are both pitching very well down here. I think I'm okay with the bullpen I've got. Let's see, Coda Glover's ready, Holder's ready, Stump's ready, Wall's ready. Rivero could probably come in and pitch an inning or, face a batter. I do have Yasmero Pettit starting today, though. I don't expect him to go deep in the game. All right. Right-handed pitching, Danny Salazar. We'll stack some lefties against him. Play Derek Fisher in right. Move Lewis Brinson to center. How did Candelario play the last game? He did draw a walk. He was 0 for 3. I want to give Jagiello some more at bats, especially against right-handed pitching. So we'll get him into the game. And I'll play Albies at short today, just to get him some more playing time. Alright, that looks good. Welcome to Great American Ballpark, where the Cincinnati Reds are hosting the Chicago Cubs. Starting today for the Reds, Yusmeiro Petit. Petit with a 1-on-1 record on the season with a 5.02 ERA. He struck out 29 batters in 28 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Cubs shortstop Jonathan Villar. Villar hitting .265 with 15 home runs and 67 RBIs. Ground ball to second. Profar up with it, throws to first. Villar's retired, 1 down in the inning. That brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen playing right field for the Cubs today, hitting .266 with 17 home runs and 55 RBIs. Ground ball to first. Gonzalez up with it, takes it in bag himself. McCutchen's retired for the second out of the inning. That brings Anthony Rizzo to the plate. Rizzo hitting .243 with 21 home runs and 66 RBIs. Looper to right center field, falls in for a base hit in front of Fisher. Rizzo's on at first with 2 down for Jose Altuve. The Cubs second baseman hitting .312 with 15 home runs and 58 RBIs. Petit delivers. Ground ball to short. Albies up with it, throws to first. Altuve's retired. And the Cubs go down here in the top of the first. They get a base runner, but they fail to score. No score after 1/2. Starting today for the Cubs, Danny Salazar. Salazar with a fine 10-5 record on the season and a 3.19 ERA. He struck out 182 batters in 163 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Reds second baseman Jurickson Profar. Profar hitting .267 with 7 home runs and 39 RBIs. Hard ground ball down the third. Valbuena up with it, throws to first, and Profar is retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down, Lewis Brinson stands in. Brinson playing center field for the Reds today, hitting .267 with 18 home runs and 55 RBIs. Brinson strikes out for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Adrian Gonzalez to the plate. The Reds first baseman hitting .271 with 20 home runs and 56 RBIs. Line shot to right that gets down for a base hit for Gonzalez. He's on at first with 2 outs for Brandon Moss. Moss hitting .233 with 10 home runs and 32 RBIs. Ground ball down to first. Rizzo up with it. Underhands to Salazar, but not in time. Moss hustling down the line, beats out an infield single. Gonzalez moves up to second. That puts runners at first and second for Derek Fisher. Fisher playing right field for the Reds, hitting .194 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Ground ball to short. Villar takes the short route to second. Cuts down to runner Moss, and that retires the Reds here in the bottom of the first. The Reds threaten, but they fail to score. There's no score after 1. Luis Valbuena steps up to the plate. The Cubs third baseman hitting .252 with 8 home runs and 43 RBIs. Line shot to left center field. That'll get down for extra bases for Valbuena. He coasts into second base with a double. Valbuena in scoring position for Andrew Toles. Toles, the Cubs center fielder, hitting .262 with 4 home runs and 35 RBIs. Ground ball down to first. Gonzalez up with it, takes it to the bag himself. Tolles is retired. Valbuena moves up to third on the play. He's now 90 feet away for Brian McCann. McCann, the Cubs catcher, hitting .269 with 17 home runs and 71 RBIs. It's a wild one. Valbuena comes home from third and he scores easily. That puts the Cubs up 1-0. Bases are now empty, 1 out in the inning. Full count to Brian McCann. Pettit delivers. High fly ball to right field. Fisher's there to put it away for the second out of the inning. 2 down, that brings Danny Salazar to the plate. Salazar hitting .157. He does have a home run and 5 RBIs. Ground ball to short. Albies up with it, throws to first. Salazar's retired. That ends the inning. The Cubs score a run, though. They go up 1-0 after 1.5. Eric Jagiello steps to the plate. Jagiello 1 for 6 on the season. He's hit a home run and has 3 RBIs. Strikes out here for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Oscar Hernandez to the plate. Hernandez hitting .275 with 10 home runs and 41 RBIs. He strikes out for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings the pitcher Yasmero Pettit to the plate. Pettit 1 for 7 on the season. He does have an RBI to his name. But Salazar strikes out the side here. Reds go down 1-2-3. And the Cubs lead them 1-0 after 2. Cubs left fielder Adam Duvall stands in. Duvall hitting .258 with 13 home runs and 40 RBIs. Pettit delivers. Strikes out Duvall for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Jonathan Villar to plate. Villar 0 for 1. Ground ball back up the middle, gets through to the outfield for a base hit. Villar on at first with good speed for Andrew McCutchen. 1 down in the inning. Pettit throws to first. Villar's back. They pitch out. Villar's not going anywhere. He's taking off for second now. He's in there safely with his 24 stolen bases this season. He's now in scoring position with 1 out for Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen 0 for 1. Oh, he's taking off for third base. Villar's eating up Oscar Hernandez and Pettit there. He's now 90 feet away with only 1 out in the inning. 2-2 the count. Ground ball back up the middle. Shortstop Albies up with it. Throws to first. McCutchen's retired. But Villar's able to score from third base. Good speed scored that run for the Cubs. They now lead 2-0 here in the top of the third. That brings Anthony Rizzo to the plate with the bases empty. Rizzo 1 for 1. He draws a walk here. He's on at first with 2 outs for Jose Altuve. Altuve 0 for 1. Ground ball to short. Albies takes the short route to second. Rizzo's cut down. And that ends the top of the third. The Cubs score another run, though. They extend their lead to 2. They lead the Reds 2-0 after 2.5. Ozzie Albies steps to the plate. He's hitting .263 and has an RBI. He draws a walk here. Let's see. I'm going to give him the green light. Albies with the green light. 0-1 to count to Jurickson Profar. Albies takes off for second base. No throw. McCann can't get a handle on it. Albies now in scoring position for Jurickson Profar. Profar 0 for 1. Works a full count and draws a walk. He's on at first base now. Runners at first and second. Nobody out for Lewis Brinson. Brinson 0 for 1. Salazar delivers. Strikes out Brinson for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Adrian Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez 1 for 1. Wild pitch. Albies and Profar both move up. They're now at second and third for Gonzalez. Full count to Gonzalez. Ground ball to second. Altuve's only plays to first. The runner Albies scores from third. Profar moves up to third. There are now 2 outs in the inning for Brandon Moss. Moss 1 for 1. Profar 90 feet away. Line shot to right center field. Gets down for a base hit for Moss. Profar is going to score. Moss digging for second. And he's in there safely with a double. Good hustle. The Reds just tied it up. It's now 2-2 here in the bottom of the third. Moss in scoring position with 2 outs for Derek Fisher. Fisher 0 for 1. Salazar strikes him out to end the inning. But the Reds score 2, and they tie the Cubs 2-2 in the third. Luis Valbuena steps to the plate. The Cubs third baseman 1 for 1. Pettit delivers. Ground ball to second. Profar up with it, throws to first. Valbuena is retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Andrew Toles to the plate. Toles 0 for 1. He strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down. Brings the catcher Brian McCann to the plate. McCann 0 for 1. Line shot down to first, but Gonzalez snags it. Cubs go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the fourth. And the game's tied 2-2 after 3.5. Eric Jagiello steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1. Strikes out here for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Oscar Hernandez to the plate. Hernandez 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Ground ball down to first. Rizzo up with it, takes to the bag himself. Hernandez is retired for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings the pitcher Yasmero Pettit to the plate. Pettit 0 for 1. Line shot to left center field. That gets down for a base hit. Pettit into second base with a double. He's in scoring position with 2 outs for Ozzie Albies. Albies drew a walk earlier. Line shot to deep left center field, or well, more of a fly ball. Duvall's able to put it away. The Reds threaten. They strand a runner. And they fail to score here in the bottom of the fourth. The game's still tied 2-2. Danny Salazar steps to the plate. Salazar 0 for 1. Pettit strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down, Adam Duvall steps in. Duvall 0 for 1. High deep drive to left center field. Going back. Duvall takes Pettit deep. And that gives the Cubs a 3-2 lead here in the top of the fifth. Only 1 out in the inning. Jonathan Villar at the plate. The shortstop 1 for 2. Line shot to right that gets down back to the wall. Villar into second easily with a double. Cincinnati's bullpen's going to get active now. We'll get Coda Glover up. Still only 1 out in the inning. Andrew McCutchen at the plate. Villar with good speed at second base. Pettit checks the runner, delivers to McCutchen. It's a balk. Villar moves up to third. He's now 90 feet away with 1 out in the inning. Pettit delivers. Strikes out McCutchen for the second out of the inning. 2 down, Villar at third base. Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Rizzo 1 for 1 today. Ground ball down to first. Gonzalez up with it, takes it to the bag himself, and Rizzo's retired. The Cubs get a runner to third, but they fail to score. They fail to score him. They did tack on a run with a solo home run, though, and they lead the Reds 3-2 after 4.5. Jurickson Profar to lead off the bottom of the fifth here for the Reds. Profar 0 for 1. Ground ball to third. Valbuena ranges far to make the play, but he has to put it in his pocket. Profar beats out an infield hit. He's on at first base with nobody out for Lewis Brinson. Brinson 0 for 2. High fly ball to left field, back to the track. And Duvall's able to put it away. 1 down in the inning. Profar still at first. Let's see. I'm going to give Profar the green light here. 0-1 to count. Well, we'll let Gonzalez hit now. Gonzalez 1 for 2 with an RBI. High deep drive to left center field. Toles is able to make the catch on the track, though. Long loud out for Gonzalez. 2 down in the inning now. Profar still at first for Brandon Moss. Moss a perfect 2 for 2 on the day. Profar gets the green light. Salazar's throwing strikes, though. And Moss strikes out to end the inning. The Reds strand a runner here in the bottom of the 5th. And the Cubs lead them 3-2 after 5. Jose Altuve to lead off here in the top of the 6th. He's 0 for 2. Pettit strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down, that brings Luis Valbuena to the plate. Valbuena 1 for 2. High fly ball to center. Brinson there to put it away. That's 2 down in the inning for Andrew Toles. The Cubs center fielder 0 for 2. Line shot to left, that's going to get back off the wall. Moss throws it back into the infield, but not before Toles gets into second with a double. Let's see, I'm going to walk McCann. I'm going to do a double switch. New pitcher for the Reds, Koda Glover. Glover 1-0 with a 3.18 ERA. He struck out 36 batters in 34 innings pitched. Coming into the game to play center field for the Reds, Albert Almora. Shifting to right is Lewis Brinson. Left, Derek Fisher. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Danny Salazar at the plate. Salazar 0 for 2. Glover delivers. Strikes out Salazar to end the inning. The Cubs threaten, but they strand 2. They lead the Reds 3-2 after 5.5. Derek Fisher at the plate. Fisher 0 for 2 on the day. Seeing eye single through the right side of the infield for Fisher. He's on at first with good speed for Eric Jagiello. He gets the green light. Takes off for second base. He's in there safely. He's now in scoring position for Jagiello. 1-1 the count. Line shot past the third baseman. I guess it was too hard hit for Fisher to score from second. They're now runners at first and third with nobody out for the catcher, Oscar Hernandez. Hernandez 0 for 2. Let's see. Jagiello's not very fast down there at first base. Oh, shoot. I was wanting to get Heimer Candelario into the game. But I guess we'll shift the infield around a little bit. Move Profar to third. Alright. It'll work. Into pinch run at first, Andrelton Simmons. Runners at first and third, nobody out. Oscar Hernandez at the plate. Jordan Walden strikes him out for the first out of the inning. 1 down, Albert Almora steps in. Almora hitting .222 with 3 home runs and 25 RBIs. Fly ball to left field. I don't know if that's going to be deep enough to score the runner. Fisher tags. He's trying to score. He's in safely. The Reds have tied it up here in the bottom of the 6th, 3-3. Simmons at first. Ozzie Albies at the plate. They give Simmons the green light. He takes off for second base. He's in there safely. He's now in scoring position for Albies. Albies 0 for 1. Oh. Albies strikes out to end the inning. But the Reds tie it up here in the bottom of the 6th. It's now 3-3. Dakota Glover into his second inning of work. He'll be facing Adam Duvall. Duvall 1 for 2 with a solo home run. Fly ball to center. Amore moves in to make the catch. 1 down in the inning. That brings Jonathan Villar to the plate. Villar 2 for 3.
Strike 3, you're out.
He strikes out here for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen 0 for 3. Line shot to left. Fisher's able to put it away, though. And the Cubs go down 1-2-3 here in the top of the 7th. Jurickson Profar steps to plate. Profar 1 for 2. High fly ball to left center field. Duvall under it, puts it away for the first out of the inning. You know, I might get Felipe Rivero up to face Rizzo. Lewis Brinson steps to plate. Brinson 0 for 3. He'll be facing a new pitcher for the Cubs, Dan Jennings. Jennings 6-3 with a 4.53 ERA. Base hit for Brinson. He gets the green light. Well, maybe I shouldn't have given him the green light. 0-1 to count. We'll set down Wall since he's ready. Gonzalez grounds it to first. Rizzo throws on to second. He cuts down the lead runner, Brinson. Gonzalez beats the return back to first. 2 outs in the inning. Gonzalez at first, Dakota Glover at the plate. They're going to pinch hit for Glover. How about David Freese? Pinching for the Reds, David Freese. Freese hitting .241 with 10 home runs and 32 RBIs.
Strike 3.
Oh, he strikes out here to end the inning. Okay. We're going to put Freese in at first. Rivera can take over for Gonzalez. Now they're saying he's cold. Oh, man. New pitcher for the Reds, Felipe Rivero. Rivero 3-1 with a 2.48 ERA. He struck out 65 batters in 58 innings pitched. He'll be facing the Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo 1 for 2. He was put in to get Rizzo and he plunks him. Rizzo on at first, nobody out, tie game. Jose Altuve at the plate. Well, I just wanted to put him in for one batter. The plan was to get Rizzo out. But now I guess I'm going to let him pitch an inning. Altuve steps to the plate. He's 0 for 3. Rivera strikes him out for the first out of the inning. Altuve very quiet this series. And brings Luis Valbuena to the plate. Valbuena 1 for 3. It's another lefty and Rivera walks him. Runners at first and second, only 1 out for the pinch hitter Tyler Austin. Austin hitting .227 with an RBI. Wall's ready. I'm going to put him in. New pitcher for the Reds, Bobby Wall. Wall 5-3 with a 3.51 ERA. He struck out 66 batters in 59 innings pitched. He checks the runners, delivers to Austin at the plate. Ha! And he walks Austin on 4 pitches. Bases loaded for the Cubs catcher, Brian McCann. Altavia's hurt. He's not tired at all. Let him pitch. Who cares he just walked the bases loaded? McCann 0 for 2. Wall delivers. Strikes out McCann for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings the pitch hitter Wilmer Defoe to the plate. Defoe 0 for 1 on the season. Wall delivers.
Strike 3.
Strikes out Defoe to get out of the jam. The Cubs load the bases, but they fail to score here in the top of the 8th. And the score is still tied 3-3 after 7.5. New pitcher for the Cubs, Glenn Perkins. Perkins 1-3 with a 5.56 ERA. He'll be facing Derek Fisher. Fisher 1 for 3. Perkins struck out 36 batters in 34 innings pitched. Line shot to the left side of the infield, base hit for Fisher. He's on at first base with nobody out for Andrelton Simmons. Simmons, the shortstop, hitting .226 with 4 home runs and 30 RBIs. Line shot down to third. Valbuena makes a nice play, tries to throw to first to double off Fisher, but nothing doing. Fisher back in time. He's still at first with 1 out for Oscar Hernandez. Hernandez, the catcher, 0 for 3. Deep drive to right center field, gets down and back to the wall. Fisher moves up to third. Oscar Hernandez into second with a double. And the Reds are now in business here in the bottom of the 8th. Runners at second and third with only 1 out. Let's see Albert Almore at the plate. Infield's playing in. Fly ball to shallow center. Not deep enough for Fisher to try to tag up and score. 2 down now. That brings Ozzie Albies to the plate. Albies 0 for 2.
Strike 3. You're out.
And Perkins strikes him out to end the inning. The Reds threaten here in the bottom of the 8th, but they fail to score. It's still tied 3-3 after 8. Wall into his second inning of work. He'll be facing Adam Duvall. Duvall 1 for 3 today with a solo home run. Line shot to left that gets down for a base hit and back to the wall. Duvall into second with a double. Duvall at second. He's better versus right-handed pitching. I don't know that I really have anything to throw at him anyway. I'm going to get Altavia up to trying to figure out. Go visit the mound. He's still going strong. Alright, I'm going to pitch to Villar. Villar 2 for 4 on the day. Wall delivers. Strikes out Villar for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Andrew McCutchen to the plate. McCutchen 0 for 4.
Strike 3.
Wall strikes out McCutchen for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Anthony Rizzo to the plate. Rizzo 1 for 2. We'll shift people around the infield again. Alright. Profar in at second. The new pitcher in the For the Reds, and to face Anthony Rizzo, Dan Altavilla. Altavilla 3-2 with a 4.14 ERA. He struck out 71 batters in 54 1/3 innings pitched. Rizzo 1 for 2 on the day. Line shot to right that gets down for a base hit for Rizzo. Runner's trying to score, Duvall, and he's in safely. Cubs take a 4-3 lead on an RBI single by Anthony Rizzo. He's on at first with 2 outs for Jose Altuve. Altuve 0 for 4.
Strike 3, you're out.
Altavilla strikes out Altuve to end the inning. But the Cubs score a run. They now lead the Reds 4-3 after 8.5. Jurickson Profar to lead off the bottom of the 9th here for the Reds. He's 1 for 3. He'll be facing Roberto Osuna. Osuna 2-4 with a 4.86 ERA. Ground ball to second. Altuve up with it, throws to first. Profar's retired for the first out of the inning. 1 down. That brings Lewis Brinson to the plate. Brinson 1 for 4. Osuna strikes out Brinson for the second out of the inning. 2 down. That brings Heimer Candelario to the plate. Candelario hitting .243 with 16 home runs and 55 RBIs. High deep drive to center field. Oh, well, fly ball to center. McCutcheon under it, puts it away. Candelario's retired, and so are the Reds. They lose to the Cubs here 4-3 at Great American Ballpark. Well, I could have pitched around Rizzo there in the 9th. That might have been the smart thing to do. I put my strikeout pitcher in, and he's good against lefties. I thought he might be able to get him. I probably should have put him on first, though, because he did strike out. See, I'm always more scared, even though Altuve's been quiet all series. Yeah, he had 1 hit. 1 hit the whole series. I'm more scared of an Altuve than I am of Rizzo. Although Rizzo's pretty scary. Oh well. At least I'm not. I got out of the 6-game losing streak. I'm now 3 games back though, and I'm guessing if I end today, yeah, I'm still 3 games back. Let me look at the standings. 3 games back there. Well, I do have a wild card spot, so I have that going for me. I'd have to blow Fulmer though for the play-in game, and if I do win that, I'd have to start Norris in the series. That's not terrible. Norris is a pretty good pitcher, or maybe Skaggs, probably Skaggs. Which reminds me, I need to bring somebody up to start this game today. Gray is still day-to-day for another day. Was there ever... No, still no diagnosis for Swarzak's exhausted. Well, I'm going to bench Gray for a day, and I'm going to send him down to the minors and bring up Strom. Strom can start this game. Actually, I'll bench him for 2 days. I'll send him down to the minors and bring Strom up to start this game. Alright, and that's where I'll end the stream here for now. Thank you for watching.